So, you have your eye on a Leo. And honestly, that tracks. There is something about a Leo that is almost impossible to look away from. They walk into a room and something shifts. Not because they are necessarily the loudest person there, though they can be, but because there is a quality of aliveness to them that pulls attention without asking for it. They're generous and warm and genuinely fun to be around. And when a Leo turns that full warmth toward you specifically, it feels like standing in actual sunlight. So of course you want more of that. Of course you want to be the person they choose. This video is not going to pretend you are here for any other reason. What it is going to do is give you a real and honest picture of how Leo actually moves in love. Not the caricature version where they just want to be adored and flattered into submission. That reading is surface level and it will actively lead you in the wrong direction. A Leo in love is far more layered than their reputation suggests. They are warm, yes. They are expressive, yes. But they are also perceptive, proud in a way that runs genuinely deep, and quietly in need of something most people never think to offer them. Understanding what is actually happening beneath that radiant surface is the difference between a Leo who finds you briefly entertaining and one who genuinely cannot imagine their life without you. That is what we are going to work through right now. 3 real dimensions of Leo romantic psychology: what draws them in, what pushes them away, and the emotional truth they carry that most people never take seriously enough. The first and most common mistake people make when pursuing a Leo is leading with flattery. The logic seems sound. Leo loves attention. Leo loves to feel admired, so the more you compliment them, the more they will respond. And a Leo will receive compliments graciously. They are warm and generous enough to do that. But there is a significant difference between a Leo who is enjoying your admiration and a Leo who is actually drawn to you. Flattery alone does not create the second thing. In fact, excessive flattery without substance behind it tends to register to a Leo as a kind of hollowness. They have been admired before. Admiration is not rare for them. What is rare, genuinely rare, is someone who sees them clearly and means what they say. Leo is a fixed fire sign, ruled by the sun. The sun in astrology represents the core self, the identity, the essential quality of a person that remains constant. A Leo's sense of self is genuinely strong. They know who they are. And that self-knowledge means they are unusually good at detecting when a compliment is real versus when it is a tactic. Empty flattery slides right off them. What lands, what actually lands, is specific, earned appreciation. The difference between telling a Leo they are amazing and telling them exactly what you noticed about something they did, something they said, something that revealed who they actually are underneath the performance. That specificity signals that you are paying real attention. And real attention is something a Leo finds profoundly attractive. The concrete practice here requires genuine observation. Before your next interaction with your Leo, think about something specific you have noticed about them that genuinely impressed or moved you. Something real. Not their appearance, not their charisma in general, but something particular. The way they handled a difficult situation, an opinion they hold that surprised you, a kindness they showed that they did not make a big deal of. Bring that. Name it directly and without exaggeration. A Leo who feels genuinely seen by you, not just admired, but actually seen, will remember that moment long after the conversation is over. The second mistake people make with Leo is related to the first, but it cuts deeper. Because Leo carries such a confident exterior, people often assume they do not need much in the way of emotional support or reassurance. They seem so self-assured, so capable, so completely at home in their own presence. Why would someone like that need you to show up for them emotionally? And so people do not. They enjoy the Leo's warmth and generosity without ever really asking how the Leo is doing underneath all of that brightness. They receive without offering much in return. And over time, a Leo in that dynamic begins to feel something they would rarely admit to: unseen. Not unappreciated. Unseen. There is a difference. Here is what lives underneath that luminous surface. A Leo gives enormously in the relationships they care about. They celebrate the people they love with a generosity that is genuine and often remarkable. But that giving does not mean they do not need to receive. The sun may be the center of the solar system, but it still needs something to shine for. A Leo who is perpetually giving warmth without having it meaningfully returned will start to dim in ways that are subtle at first and then increasingly hard to miss. They might become more performative and less genuine, more grand and less vulnerable. Because vulnerability requires safety, and safety requires someone who shows up for you in return. The actionable thing here is to practice showing up for your Leo in moments that do not obviously call for it. Not just when they are in the spotlight and thriving, in the quieter moments when things have not gone the way they hoped. When a project they cared about fell flat. When they put themselves out there and it did not land. Those are the moments a Leo discovers who is actually in their corner. And being genuinely, warmly in their corner during those moments, without making them feel diminished, without excessive fuss, just with solid, real presence, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your standing with this sign. The concrete thing is simple, but it requires paying attention. Notice the next time your Leo has a moment of disappointment or frustration. Do not minimize it. Do not immediately try to fix it with cheerfulness. Just be there. Acknowledge it. Let them feel that someone is paying close enough attention to notice when things are hard for them. That kind of loyal presence is what a Leo genuinely falls for. The third dimension is the one that most people completely miss, and understanding it will tell you more about how to attract a Leo than almost anything else. People see the confidence, the warmth, the natural authority Leo carries in social situations, and they conclude that the best way to attract this sign is to be an enthusiastic audience, to cheer them on, to let them lead and follow graciously, and make them feel like the main character in every scene. And while a Leo does genuinely enjoy being celebrated, what they're actually looking for in a romantic partner is something quite different from an audience. They're looking for an equal. This is the part that surprises people. Because Leo is associated with royalty and with the sun, people assume they want someone to orbit around them. But a Leo who has genuinely matured in their understanding of love does not want a devoted follower. They want someone they can genuinely respect. Someone with their own strength, their own standards, their own sense of self that does not dissolve under the heat of a Leo's personality. Someone who can stand beside them rather than behind them. Because a Leo who respects you will love you fiercely. A Leo who does not respect you will drift, even if they enjoy your company. Respect is the precondition for real romantic investment with this sign. What respect looks like practically is having your own life fully intact. Your own ambitions. Your own opinions, including opinions that differ from the Leo's, delivered with warmth but without apology. Your own standard of excellence in the things you do. A Leo is genuinely drawn to people who are good at something, who care about something, who bring their own quality and conviction into the relationship. They do not need you to compete with them. They need you to have your own lane that you run with genuine commitment. And the concrete thing to do right now is this. Think about the area of your life where you are currently most genuinely yourself, most skilled, most passionate, most alive. Let your Leos see that version of you, not as a performance, because you are actually in your element and it shows. That quality of authentic self-possession is one of the most attractive things a Leo will ever encounter in a potential partner. When you pull all three of these insights together, what emerges is a picture of what Leo is really looking for in love. Not an audience, not a mirror, not someone who will simply reflect their greatness back at them without contributing anything of their own. They are looking for a partner who sees them clearly and means it. Someone who shows up in the quiet moments, not just the bright ones. Someone who has enough genuine substance and self-respect to stand beside them as a true equal. And someone who loves them specifically, not the performance they sometimes feel pressure to maintain, but the real, complex, occasionally vulnerable person underneath it. If you can offer that, and not as a strategy, but because it is genuinely who you are and how you love, then you are already offering something a Leo will find rare and worth holding on to. Because a Leo who has genuinely chosen someone is one of the most devoted and passionately loyal partners in the zodiac. They do not love halfway. When they are in, they are fully in, and they will champion you with a generosity that will make you feel genuinely lucky to be chosen by them. That is what is on the other side of this. And it is worth doing the real work to get there. Has there been a moment with your Leo when the confident exterior dropped and you saw something more unguarded underneath? A moment of real honesty or real need that changed how you understood them? Share it in the comments. Those moments are where the real story of this sign lives, and I genuinely want to hear what you have seen. If this gave you real insight into your Leo, make sure to save this video and come back to it. Drop your questions and stories in the comments below. Like and subscribe for the full series. And good luck, you've got this.